Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today, man, we got a hot one for you. There has been madness that has ensued and just came out of who knows where here in SS1-1, or I guess I should say SS1-0001 slash just we'll just say 1. And essentially, this is the first merged kingdom in Call of Dragons with kingdoms 1 through 4 going in. And apparently, there is now just utter war happening in Zone 3 Atherin. And here are some of the matchups that we know so far, right? So what we know is that it is Forbidden. Right, so it's 4BDN, which, so we got 4BD1 right here in purple. And you can see when I click on them there. And then I believe they're extending. Now, I don't know what GRZ is doing at the moment, right? If I look at Forbidden, they're over here in light orange. And you can see they're extended to about this way. And then it's also NT45. Right, so kind of the people that are here on the right side, right? So you have a Zone 3 pass here on the farthest southeastern Zone 3 pass, and they're extended by orange. Then we have the light blue, right, which is NT45. They're going from east, and then you have 4BD1, right? So and they're kind of along, I guess you could say along the north. I'm not sure where they stop. Let me see GRZ. Oh, maybe about here. That looks right. Wherever this thing is. Right? Oh man, I can't even click on that. Rough life. I can't click on that either. Well, it has to be them. Yeah, it is. So it looks like it's probably about here. And then I don't know if this is GRZ as well. Oh, it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of show you the battlefronts that are happening. But for the most part, it's kind of east versus west in this situation. Right? So you have GRZ, you have TATR. That's up here on the west. And that's basically what the fight is right now. So it's pretty much kind of a 3v2, 3v3, at least it feels like. I know I asked a few people here in World Chat, and let's just confirm. And I think if I just scroll up enough, I'm gonna see, oh man, no. It's loading the above messages. Rough life. Let's see if it'll go a little faster here. It's not. Okay, that's cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stages for some of the battlefronts. And as always, right, if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell. If you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description right down below. Okay, so let's start first with this one that we have here, which I believe is what, 4BD1. No, 4BDN. I have to remember these colors now. So again, right, they actually have this magma captured here. That, let me scroll out a bit so you can see, right, they've captured this magma here, but they're not applying any pressure on TR, right, which is kind of the southwestern front. In addition, right, they could be applying pressure to some of these areas, but they're not. Right, so they could be attacking this flag, could be attacking that flag. At least at the moment, they're not doing that. We're just going to kind of follow this upwards, right? So there is some action that's happening here. So if we zoom in, we can see, let's see how far we have to zoom in here to start looking at some acciones as we get some loads. So again, right, nice little 4BDN going on, some TA. This actually could turn into a nice little fight that we're seeing right now. And it looks like they're applying some pressure over here on the east. And you can see TR kind of building one or upgrading, it looks like. Or sorry, that is actually destroying. Let's see whose flag this is real quick. That is actually one of the 4BDN flags. We got our boy Dada out there too as well. All right, let's see, man. We got 4BDN. Nice little skirmish going on right now. Ooh, this is a big pile up. Right, so what you can see here is it looks like they have about 7 or 8 units that are just stacked on top of each other. This is something that we often talk about, right, where you want to try and avoid this because you're just taking so much AoE damage, and you can see multiple of their units going in red. And same thing up here, right, a little bit of stacking, but just more so over here. Ended up losing, you can see a few units there, and then some of the opponents, right, from the 4BDN side. Just one of the things that you want to try and avoid. Ooh, nice Shadow Games. Actually, back-to-back Shadow Games that was going down there on Dom State and Faith, and then, or I should say that they put out, and then returning the Shadow Games play on them. Man, that was a lot of just negative purples going down. Annoying player, actually doing the right move here when time bomb is thrown out, right? We talk about that pretty often. Ooh, I like this. He moves forward just so he can hit a shadow game. Sits about 3 people with that, but also did a good job of isolating himself so the time bomb would only affect him and not any of his teammates. Oh, I like this. Are they proccing some of the Darklings so that way they can go and attack their opponents? That would actually be an interesting tactic if that was like really doing well. I like how we're getting maybe a little more spread here. I don't know if it's just because of how things are playing out, but you know, one of the things I've been noticing is, you know, there's not too much kind of individual microplay. It almost seems like most players will essentially just select all 5 of their units and then just move them around. At least for the most part on what I've been seeing. I haven't been seeing like too much kind of high-level microplay. I'm sure that'll come into, come into light as we see more PvP and some of those tactics and just I guess again, micro abilities from certain players end up being showcased, right? And that for me is going to be something really exciting. BDN now is able to push TA off, and it looks like they're rebuilding. Thankfully, they've only lost about 6% thus far on the One Alliance flag. So nice little skirmish fight there that ended up playing out in their favor. All right, now let's see what we got here. So again, this is the 4BDN area, and again, they have, I believe this is TR over here, so it is. Looks like they're doing a little upgrade. Now let's start going north here so we can see what's happening. Right, here's TR. Other flags that they can hit to as well, right, that they have access to. I don't know what this is. That's an invalid TA flag. Oh, wow, here we go. We got some TA guys up here just chilling right now, and some of the 4BDN guys going up. Ooh, wow, this could turn into another little nice fight. Looks like they were staging. I wonder if we're going to get some more reinforcements coming here from 4BDN. This could be nice. Uh-oh, hang on. People are calling the retreat sign. What's going on? Are they trying to stage more? So they were able to push them off 1. We're going to have to see how this plays out for the next. So if they're not going to do a hard engage here, then... Ooh, wow. Okay, never mind then. Ooh, I don't know why they were... I don't know why some of the TA guys were overextending like that. That did not make a lot of sense to me. I don't... also, 4BDN could have actually played this out a lot better on the counter if they would have... If someone would have called that out and then they just all pushed at the same time. Probably could have got 2 or 3 just easy free kills there. Also, this is why you don't want to tunnel vision yourself, right? Sometimes if you're in the fight, you're not really looking ahead. And this could easily just... Oh, nice. Okay, so they did pull back. That was smart. Yo, we got our boy Junie over here with the flying. Just hanging out. It's not even bad. Look, he's doing 547, but the counterattack is doing 417. The counterattack makes no sense to me. Excuse me. Yeah, counterattack makes no sense to me. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's just I just truly believe it should not be in the game. And then we'll actually get true skill fights that are based on players being active and attentive. You know, not just relying on, oh, you know, I can just send a really strong march out there. Again, I do like this play, though, from TA, right? Isolating Suicide. Suicide should be backing up, not paying attention. Not a lot of coordination happening right now from 4BDN. Again, a few players here, whether they're in voice or not, that was a nice coordination of essentially how you do it, right? I mean, that was kind of, I would say, kind of a light, I don't know if I want to say a pro lesson, but I would say that was a good example of how you can utilize flying in that type of way, and then you're just kind of picking people off one by one, right? That's why it's really, this is what I'm talking about. When you start seeing more of those types of advanced tactics being applied, but then just amplify that by, you know, plus 5, 10, plus 15 units, and you're able to be efficient in that way, it's really good. Nice little Walder Lilia getting some nice proc hits there on additional targets. Junie's still putting some damage down with the flying. Yeah, man, not bad. I really want to go take a look at a few other fronts. Let's see if we can go look real quick, because, I mean, this seems to be a nice one right here around 668, 470 that we're seeing. And then remember, this is TA, TR. So interesting thing, I just wanted to point this out. This was actually kind of a cool notice, right? And I didn't realize this could happen. So TR is right here, and TA's up here with their flags, right? But if you notice, TA... Oh, sorry, never mind. Man, I thought it was TA. Dang it. I thought I was going to have a revelation for a moment because the letters are so similar. I was going to say, man, that's so cool that TA is able to destroy this flag, even though their flags aren't touching. And then I thought to myself, oh, man, is that an additional perk from the Union? But turned out, never mind. I just had to read better. Okay. And then up here, we got... TA as well, and if we keep extending eastward, right, we're going to see that there could be, this is kind of like the next front, right, the next battlefront, if you will. So this is really, so we got NT45 here, right, and this is where NT45 is really going to have to, and point this out, this is actually not a bad defensive play here from, ooh, what are these? Barricades, but they're spiked barricades, interesting. Cool, level 1 barricades, and these are level, ooh, nice, level 5 barricades, ooh. But, sorry, the thing I wanted to say here was that I like the defensive play from TA on placing the strategical keeps. Now, what would have been cool is if they would have placed the keeps where it's actually in range of the flag, right? So, like, this keep up here on the north, I actually think is very well positioned because it's essentially within range of the flag, and on top of that, it's also covering one of the main flags that they have to push to that's kind of at the battlefront. So in this type of a situation with NT45, right, they would need to either have enough players online, clear out all the PvP ones, and then go ahead and start hitting the keep when there's no one left. That's really what they would have to do here, right? The other way that they would approach this is maybe if they can build a flag here. I don't know if this is a small enough area or open enough, but they'd have to try and maybe build a flag here, or if they have Forbidden remove a flag, right? They could have Forbidden remove a flag, and then they build a flag in this position, and then they could go and attack this flag and disconnect, so that way you can get behind the keeps, right? So you kind of have to be creative, right? And think about how you're going to strategically place things, because you don't just want to be standing around. Right? Them standing around here, like what they're doing right now, you know, this is bad. You know, you either need to have everyone participating in destroying barricades, or you need to start making money plays. This right now, where they're just kind of hanging out, this is not money plays. Right now, if they're doing something or fighting on another front, okay, that's cool, but you have a lot of players here right now. So, right, be creative and approach the game in that type of way. That would be something. Again, they have enough players online, but they're just not really getting anything done from that. Okay, now let's see what we got up here, because I believe this is 4BD1. And I think 4BD1 is flag building right now. So they are. So here's the other battlefront, right? So you got TA pretty much fighting, you know, I guess at the moment, more or less, maybe a 3v1, 3v2. Obviously with the inclusion of TR. Hello. And so this is something that is pretty cool. But again, right, 4BD1 has to push up farther north, because right now, TA is probably just getting free attacks and free kills on these 4BD1 members, and it's just not the most ideal, right? Again, if you have players, which you have, you do have members here, right? You got to push a little forward, you know, attack the TA guys one by one, you know, try to get them off of hitting your builders, or if your builders are on, then try and have them push off, right? That's another way to approach. BD1 was able to hold off a few of the TA players there. It looks like there, if we can kind of look at a high-level overview right now, right? This actually isn't a bad idea. They're pushing westward here from this front. And if they can get over here, they can disconnect some GRZ flags. They might even be able to connect some of these TA flags. And then they have one more up here, right? That's happening as well. So this is something they have to consider. If you look at GRZ, it looks like they're building or upgrading. Are we building or upgrading? Yeah. So now you got GRZ that's fighting it out up here. You got some 4BD1 players. So they're trying to probably split. Might actually attempt to start repairing this a little bit faster. So yeah, again, we have multiple fronts that are being fought on, right? So you have one front, two front, but this is kind of more expanding, right? We have NT45 here. This is a third front. I'm sure once they end up building out here, that'll become a solid, right, third. So that's right there. 4BDN can actually fight if they wanted to, and this would be a fourth if it ends up going that way. You even have, oh no, that's a pass range, so you can't go there, right? So then we have the front up here, right? So then this is kind of the 5th front, essentially. Maybe a 6th if you consider over here. Then you could actually have 7, maybe even 8 down here. So you have up to quite a bit of fronts that could be happening. It's really just going to depend on, oh wow, so TA actually ended up pushing down here, and we missed a little bit, I'm sure, of what was probably a decently big fight. But again, we wanted to show you guys the lay of the land, so you're just aware of what's happening. Oh man, dang it, I don't even have any audio going on here. Hold up, Rough Life, I actually thought we did. Let's do this, hold up, that's what we're going to do. Because I want to try and show you guys, give you guys some audio here. I'm shocked, I thought I had this up. Cool, awesome, there we go. So now you guys can actually hear a little bit of PvP audio. And that was my hope, was to try and get you guys at least some of the sound effects while we talked over, just because sometimes that can be nice to hear, even if it's, as long as it's not too loud. All right. So here we go, man. Dude, wow, this could actually turn in a little bit nicer. So Forbidden doing a little bit more of a push here on TA. Some of the numbers look like they might still be in TA's favor. We're going to see, ooh, nice dodge there on the UV Shadow Games play from NightPleb, man. I like the real-time reaction. That was well done. Time Bomb being thrown down here. Let's see if he's going to end up... Ooh, I like that. Right at the end there, UV's like, you know what? I'm just going to sacrifice. I don't want to impact any or take any additional damage there. Let's see now what 4BDN does. Again, right, Shinj, Niels, more in Suicide, right? Let's make sure we're pushing other units from NightPleb. Right, again, push in unison and then spread out. Right, don't try and pile. Right? Looks like, say, a little bit there. Again, man, this is not bad. They have a lot of players that are just bunched up here. This is literally just AoE heaven. Ooh, my gosh, whatever that was sick. Oh my gosh, wow, so much damage coming out right now from 4BDN. Oh, wow. That actually wasn't bad there, at least on the groups of players, right? That's the thing, man. You spread out along this line, and then you go ahead and just start doing the damage. This is a big fight. Ooh, Shadow Games being thrown down. Time Bomb right there from Ella being thrown down, right? Looks like on Suicide or one of the front units there for his Waldir and Alwyn. Meat Doctor with the Garwood. Junie running the Nika. What if this is Nika Madeline, maybe? Or I'm curious, right? And then also for Meat Doctor, I wonder if this is going to be... Is this like Garwood Indus? Is this Garwood Nika maybe? Curious on what that one is. Oh, it actually looks like Garwood Madeline. So he's going pure tank sustain with that front line. And this is the thing, man. Sometimes you can ignore the front line. You know, that's the thing. If you're running Garwood Madeline, I mean, that's kind of like the ultimate sustain comp at that point. NightPleb looks like kind of running a similar, but except running Madeline primary. I actually somewhat, I'm not sure how much, it's interesting, right? You kind of have to play out which one you think is going to sustain better based on talent trees, right? Because that's really just what it comes down to there at the end. Now, and sometimes it actually can be okay to ignore, right, the frontline tanks. That's one of the things that you have to be cognizant of, right, is that sometimes it's better just to focus the DPS, and then you can hit the tanks last because they're just not going to be doing as much AoE damage or just general DPS as the backline as your backline DPS for your archers and mages will. For BDN, looking like they're getting a few more reinforcements here. Again, this is a little bit of what I'm talking about, right? You don't want to be too clumped. TA, small clumps here, but looks like kind of running more in favor of 4BDN. Watch out for that Time Bomb. Have to be aware. Ooh, can't see. Ooh, a little Tear of Arbin getting thrown down there for a nice little 8-second heal. Time Bomb Shadow Games getting thrown down for almost full damage there on Kono. 4BDM not doing a bad job here of keeping the sustain and the replenish up. Well, now pushing back TA a little bit more here. This is not bad. If they can push a little bit farther northeast and they can clear out some of these other PvP units, they'll have free reign on those builders, which, again, will be a nice blow dealt. TA is going to have to try and recoup here. But this is the thing, man. Forbidden, don't overextend too much, right? You have to push with numbers, right? Just because you're winning a fight, or it seems like you're winning a fight, right? You have to make sure that you are doing it appropriately and well. Okay, so this is a nice heads-up play, right? Not overextending too much, doing some damage. Ooh, Cthulhu going a little, starting to kind of go a little bit farther. I like how they're just, again, no one's supporting Meat Doctor here from TA. This is one of those things, man. I like how he got deep in there before hitting his active skill, and he's tanking, but no one's backing Meat Doctor up. This is just kind of a poor heads-up play here from TA, right? If, you know, why is Meat Doctor going to waste a sustained march a tank sustained march when you're not backing him up with any support, right? Remember, the focus is on him. And again, that was actually a good opportunity there where he bought TA a good bit of time. But, and this is what I want to point out, right? He could have also done that in another tactical approach where the player could have done that to buy TA time to replenish their ranks before re-engaging, right? That's another way you can look at it from. However, it didn't look like they were really down on players too much. So my thought is that him going in there would have been better if he would have been supported, right, with some DPS units to do some damage because everyone was focusing him. Therefore, the primary attention would not have been, or at least would have been distracted, right, if any of the DPS did come in. Oh, nice tier of Arbin being thrown down. Time Bomb, Shadow Games being thrown down there in NL. And this is the thing, man. Sometimes if you're going to split into groups like this, you know, the important thing is that you really have to be coordinated in who you're targeting, right? Keeping yourself at max distance. I don't know if this is not the best idea, right, for these 4 BDN guys. Why? Because now you're having more players attacking you than you are them. Back up, focus on this TA UV, focus on Kitsune, and then go ahead and start working on the other ones, right? Basically, you're fighting like a 7v3, a 7v2 situation here. It's just not the smartest thing to do. Again, you have to be aware of creating real-time and constant favorable numbers for your advantage. Otherwise, you will be in a disadvantage more often than not. A good situation here, right? You got players that are kind of at max range hitting. Now the focus should be to retreat a little bit, focus on the next max range, or just redirect attention. This actually could have been a nice call there on hitting UV. I don't know if they're going to get that kill. Ooh, wow. So UV was able to back up. Ooh, no, they did. So they were able to get that kill. Time Bomb being thrown down there on one of the TA players. Multiple damage hitting the 3 players that it should be, right, for getting that max hit. 4 BDM backing up. This is why, right? This is why it's important if you were to have someone, for example, in a voice chat saying, hey, guys, let's back up. We have 4 or 5 units that are coming, right? Move back to our forward flag, and then we're going to go ahead and re-engage, right? Having a type of on-field, I'm telling you, man, this is the future of CoD, is you need to have some type of on-field general, or you need to have either an on-field general and or someone who's constantly scouting around to be looking at real-time numbers, and then someone who can kind of get an up-to-date head count on who's online, who's coming to engage, because that can really tell you what type of fights you should take, when to engage, when not to engage. Those types of things are really important. And so I think those types of strategic positions within alliances is going to become that much more important as we start developing deeper and stronger tactics and more advanced or higher level strategies throughout the game. In this situation, this is just not smart to do. For Percival, for Contolo, I would not have gone into this. I would have backed up because you're just throwing yourself to the wolves, unfortunately, right? There's just no point in going out and doing that. Also, Tier of Arbin, man, that was actually kind of like a weak heal. Almost makes me feel like maybe the better play is just to take kind of more DPS or damage items. I mean, unless you're having like everyone in your alliance have one person who's running Tier of Arbin, then maybe if you can kind of stack some of those things in the fight. I guess it just depends. That was interesting to see that. But again, right, this is where you'd back up as 4 BDN, you create another staging area, you wait for the units to replenish, because now TA is somewhat overextending, right? So this is where you can hit some of those counterplays, and you don't want to have weak numbers to where you're pushing off, and then they're able to push all the way to your flag and kill a few of these builders essentially for free, right? And Meat Doctor really playing the tank role the way you should, is you just dive deep. Right, you're not there to do damage output. You're there to distract. You're there to focus attention on you. Right, that's really what running like a pure DPS, and that's something that you would pay attention to early on. Right, you pay attention to the marches. You see who the secondaries are. Right, again, another Madeline Garwood. If they're not running, like Madeline Nika, Garwood Nika, other infantry builds, then you're okay. Right, in that sense, because the Legion isn't necessarily kind of off damage or mixed damage focused. It's more so like if you're running Madeline Nika, that's more like damage heavy infantry, right, with some sustain. But if you're running Garwood Madeline, you're really going pure tank, right? And like we saw, So, again, paying attention to those things so that way your on-field commander, your on-field general can make those heads-up calls, right? So you see something like a Garwood, Madeline, Garwood, you can tell everyone, look, ignore. Go ahead and focus the damage or the DPS, keep spreading out, unless that unit is pushing and you're backing up while they're pushing and you're able to damage them without taking unnecessary damage from the DPS, then of course do that. But if you're in a situation where you're basically already just kind of balls to the walls fighting, right, then it's good to pay attention to certain units that you can ignore. Right, and this is just kind of like, if you think about these types of situations, this is kind of like a little bit of that League of Legends style play, where you're not necessarily going to focus the pure tanks or necessarily even sometimes the off tanks. You're going to try and focus the DPS players as often as possible, right? So it's kind of a similar approach when you're looking at kind of comparing League to CoD, at least in that limited capacity or in that specific way. So in this situation, man, TA now, what it looked good. The numbers look good for Forbidden, right? At least in this fight. And then coming back now, and TA with the counter push, able to get the Forbidden members off of the flag. And again, even someone, was it a TR person I just saw there that was in the fight? I do, Dark Lord there. Right, so yeah, man, not bad here for TA, right? Pushing Forbidden back. This is where you're on your heels. It's important not to kind of split up as much as possible, and that's a little bit of what we're seeing, right? So you saw some players break left or break west. Some players broke south here for Forbidden, and this is just where. Right, it's interesting because you can approach this a few ways, right? Forbidden could just back up within their cities and go ahead and kind of reset the ranks, refill the ranks. And TA could sit back, wait for them to push out, or you keep being the aggressor and you keep playing the number advantages, right? That's another way to do it as well, where you don't mind going in through the cities because you have a numbers advantage, and because maybe they're not able to replenish as fast, you can take advantage of that, right? Even if it's only for a brief period of time. So it is interesting to kind of think about, what the options that you do have even in these types of situations. Yeah, man, nice. So getting a little bit more replenish right here. We'll see if we might end up seeing a little bit of a counter push or counter play here from Forbidden on TA, as some of the TA legions are getting a little bit lower, right? They have some good. This isn't bad though, man. They do have some players. Ooh, I like this here from Suicide. If he's running the Emrys Bakshi, I like how he's just going around and picking people off one by one. That looked like what was the play. Man, I need to start paying attention a little bit more towards that. That was pretty cool, man. I actually really liked that. Nice. Time bomb being hit, going down. Nice play there. Yeah, this is not bad. I really want to go show off some more of the other fights, man, because there are quite a few fights that are happening right now. The other most notable one, I think, was here. I don't know how we're doing with NT45. Or, sorry, 4BD1. So 4BD1, oh, wow. So it looks like they kind of pushed them off. Nothing really happening here right now. At least for, GRZ still building. So we're probably going to see a fight happening between 4BD1 and GRZ on this point. If we go up north, let's just take a look and see what's happening up here. So nothing really. Looks like we're still getting the build. Oh, never mind. Here we go, man. So 4BD1 GRZ, a little bit of a skirmish happening. Not too big of a fight at the moment. Interesting, though. Oh, I see. So they're building this one so they can have a little bit more extended there. How much more time do we have on this one? So 27 minutes until that. So we got our boy Thainzong there from GRZ. What's up, man? Sunny. Small little skirmish happening here. Again, great example. Spread out along the ridge, right? Don't just kind of overlap and put yourself on top of each other, right? Because that's kind of how the system works. You can layer for unlimited on top of one another, right? And same thing here. Look at this. You got 5 or 6 units just on top of each other. Think about how much AoE damage you're taking there compared to if you spread out. That's the one thing we really need to try and do a better job of, right, when it comes to kind of showing off PvP in a coordinated fashion. Now let's look at the NT45 skirmish, right, at the kind of standstill. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, wow, NT45 actually pushing in here And we missed some action. This is pretty cool. Again, looks like just out of range. Right, and again, this is what I'm talking about. in this situation, right, if you're going to fight TA, fight them off of the keeps. And then like I was saying again, right, you have to flank. Now, you might not be able to... Oh, you can actually come up this way. Ooh, hang on. Deep mountain range. So it looks like we have to do a lot of backtracking here. Wow. So you have to actually go pretty far. So what that means is that what you would want to do in this situation, right, in order to get a solid flank off, you want to hit a flag that's on the back line. So the best way really for, I think, them to approach this, unless you just have overwhelming numbers. So like, let's say NT45 has overwhelming numbers. Right? Then, yeah, you can make an argument that they could push into the flag area, focus the keep, kill everyone in the keep, and then start focusing the flag. However, if you're not going to do that, then the next thing you would do here, right, is you would build a flag here. Right? You have 4BD1 remove a flag. Right? You can have them remove one flag. You build the flag here, and then you run past the keep. You go around deep in here, and you start destroying the flag from deep in here, right? That's the way you could play it out. So I think, again, there's a few approaches, right? But the fact is that, you know, unless you're just going to sit here and focus all day on hitting the stragglers from NT45, right, you're not really contributing when you just think about the overall impact, right? Because think about it. They're basically stalemating you here with a limited amount of TA members versus you having a lot of NT45 members here, right? You either have to commit, make a push, and then swarm the keeps, right? And have multiple units attacking the similar units to... I don't know if the surround bonus would apply here, but that's what you would do, right? If you're going to try and push forward. Or you have to go and redirect your forces, right? You either play the same game. You have a minimal amount of units here, and then you start sending your units to go and support 4BD1 up top north, or even going south and supporting 4BDN. But having this amount of units here, in my opinion, right, just isn't necessarily contributing to the fight if you're not going to make some type of plays happen, right? So that's something to consider. All right. I think I'm probably going to end it here, man. We're at about 35 minutes. Let me show off some of the leaderboards real quick before we do go ahead and go elsewhere. So you guys can notice quite a bit of fighting's been happening, right? You can see here, right, we used to have some of the guys around 70. Midas must have been fighting incredibly much because, remember, Midas was number one. He passed up Ghost at around close to 70 million, if not did hit it. And Ghost was just under him, less than like 500K or something difference. And then you had Junie, right? Ripper and Seiyu powering up a little bit. Boogie still about the same. Let's look at personal merits. Wow. So there you go, dude. Midas coming out as the number one guy fighting right now. That is awesome to see that. Along with, if you just look at the drop in power to show you how much. I mean, he basically dropped, 13 million power? Just to show you how much he's fighting. Ghost dropping, 5.5. Junie dropping a little bit too as well. But you can clearly see this, right, based on the merit. Because Midas wasn't number one in merits, but now he is. That is sick. Let's look at Alliance power to look at what some of the numbers look like. So you got TA, GRZ, and TR, right? So you got 1, 6, and 7. Oh, I'm sorry. And then I think PoS might be with them as well. So if that's the case, we have 4BDN, 4BD1, and NT45. That brings us to what? 4 billion, 5.7, 5.8 billion, right? And then you have TA, PoS, which is, at least I think they are. If that's the case, then it's what? 5? That's actually exactly 5 billion, maybe almost 5.1. If you add GRZ in the mix, now you're at, what, 6.6? At TR, 7.6. So, again, right, the numbers obviously don't necessarily favor 4BDN, 4BD1, and NT45, right, because there's maybe about a 2.5 bill difference in power. But if you're just looking at, you know, the top 6 or 7. I mean, again, they have, I would say, enough. Yeah. I mean, maybe if GRZ switched sides or something, then the numbers would be a little bit closer. However, the numbers aren't awful, right? But it is something I just want to point out. Let's look at alliance merits, right? Wow. So for BDN, man, if they keep this up, they might pass TA for, again, most PvP alliance right now. PoS doing decent. NT45 coming up, 4BD1 coming up. I mean, you can see here, right? GRZ, TR haven't really been doing too much fighting. This is somewhat indicative as well, right? If you're looking here, you can make the argument, right? 4BDN, NT45, 4BD1, essentially fighting the most, right? And being the most PvP focused. TA, and then obviously depending on if PoS is on their side, right, then again you have kind of a nice 2v3 situation here, and then depending on how much fighting GRZ is going to do, that will impact. So kind of a 3v3 when you're looking at based on the alliance merits. But again, man, 4BDN, NT45, and 4BD1, right, having good alliance merit numbers, so, you know, maybe they will make this a solid and good fight. All right. That is it for me, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm so excited right now to be getting as much PvP content from fighting here in SS1 now that the fight is back. Let's look at how much left we have here on the actual season. Or excuse me, we got to go to here. We'll do Titan's Legacy. And then we'll go... So we got 18 days left, right? So pretty early. And then let's see when Flame Dragon... open. So Unscarred has 2 hours left, and then we're going to go into Unparalleled Bravery, which is when the Flame Dragon will open, right? So you got a couple days. So this could be the ramp up to fight to see who's going to end up being able to get Flame Dragon. Man, I'm excited. I cannot wait to cover this as much as possible. So I'm going to be trying to give you guys as much content here from, again, the first merged server here in SS1-1 and bringing you as much content as we possibly can. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you want to see anything specific, I'll try and do my best as always to cover as much as we can. That is it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.